I usually begin remarks by pointing out what you know, that although I sound a little like James Earl Jones, I look exactly like Denzel Washington. I am personally particularly pleased to receive this award from the Metropolitan Black Bar Association, the lineal descendant of Bedford-Stuyvesant Legal Services, because I was born in Bed-Stuy, Dean and Nostrand. As lawyers, each of us has a sacred duty to advance the cause of our clients. That client may be a Fortune 100 company on Wall Street. That client may be a homeless parent with children in Manhattan. That client may be a technology startup in Brooklyn. I'm a lifetime member of this organization, and I support its traditions. And those traditions have empowered this kid from Bed-Stuy in Harlem to move through the pipeline, to move from the projects of Harlem to the boardrooms of Wall Street, and now to the bench of the United States District Court for the Eastern District of New York as an Article III judge.
This is Judge William F. Kuntz II, and this was shared by William in the Telegram chat. And this is basically covering some of his background to kind of give us an idea on how he may rule on this motion to vacate and the SEC's opposition to it. He defines his philosophy as applying the law to the facts with patience, humility, and respect for litigants and their counsel. And then we have some notable cases and handling of fraud. We have corporate and securities fraud, Erickson Securities litigation, 2023, dismissed fraud claims on Rule 12b-6 grounds, stressing high standards for scienter adherence to Telelab standards. FCPA Securities in the Second Circuit, 2023, case dismissed under his judgments, affirming his detailed textual and procedural rigor. Terrorism finance. Lafarge case, oversaw plea and sentencing of Lafarge entities for financing ISIS. ANF, imposing probation and $777 million in fines, highlighting his role in high-stakes compliance and fraud deterrence. So Judge Kuntz judicial profile based on publicly available data and prior decisions. So background, Judge Kuntz is a Harvard-educated black federal judge appointed by President Obama. That could be a plus or negative depending on how you look at this, with a reputation for methodical, respectful, and precedent-focused decision-making. Stance on misconduct. He has shown zero tolerance for ethical lapses, especially in cases involving federal agencies or prosecutors. In sentencing and enforcement cases, he takes seriously the impact of government overreach on marginalized individuals. Fraud handling. While no 60D3 motion appears on his docket, his dismissal of security complaints for failure to meet the scienter and specificity standards under Rule 9b in the Erickson Securities litigation demonstrates that he applies a high bar for fraud but is not protective of agencies without cause. And then if we go down a little bit further, it says here, the strength and specificity of the evidence, both documents offer detailed timelines, sworn affidavits, FOIA responses, and expert declarations. The misconduct described is systematic, not isolated, echoing patterns in the Debtbox case, where a federal judge sanctioned SEC for similar abuses. There is substantial circumstantial and direct evidence that at least some of the SEC filings contain knowingly false material facts. Kuntz is likely to take this seriously, particularly because it challenges the court's integrity. Likely outcomes. The alleged SEC misconduct will be taken seriously due to volume and specificity. Clarity of fraud on the court, likely sufficient to survive motion to dismiss or initial screening. Judge's ethics orientation increases chances of hearing the full merits. Racial bias allegations may lend additional weight to judicial scrutiny, and full Vacatur of judgment, possible, but will depend on the strength of counter-arguments from the SEC. Sanctions or referrals. If motion succeeds, referrals to DOJ or OIG are possible. Conclusion. Judge Kuntz is likely to allow the 60D3 motion to proceed and may grant it in whole or part, especially if the allegations are documented and the fraud is shown to have directly tainted judicial proceedings, the SEC's own contradictions, example FOIA misstatements, revised Kraken ownership are emphasized, and the racial and reputational impact on Middleton is made clear. So again, this was just a ChatGPT background on Judge William F. Kuntz II, and this was shared again by William in the Telegram chat.
Like the sudden passing of another legendary High Court justice from New York, Justice Scalia, shocked and saddened the judiciary throughout this great country. However, it did something much more important. It made every judge on every court more determined to embrace the rule of law. As lawyers, as trial judges, and as appellate justices, those two justices embodied the best of the law. They fashioned those wise restraints that make us free, without fear, without favor. I accept this award tonight with a grateful but a heavy heart. But above all, I accept this award with one caveat, that we now and forever acknowledge publicly what we all know in our hearts. Tonight, you kindly call me the Jurist of the Year, but we all know the true jurist of this year was Justice Sheila Abdus-Salam. She treated me with grace and respect from the moment we met many years ago. I had been a judge for all of 10 minutes, and she treated me as if I'd been a judicial colleague for 2 decades. She left us far too soon. I have a view that tonight in heaven, Justice Salam and Justice Scalia are debating points of law together as they stand before the one jurist for all years. Admittedly, one of those judges is to his left and one of those judges is to his right, but let the record reflect, I'm not saying which is which. They are arguing with wit and grace. The one jurist that they are arguing before is the one who presides over all courts, the one who rules in every age, the one who will call each of us by name to welcome us to our eternal reward. He is the one trial judge who reigns supreme not tonight but every night, not this year but every year. He is the one trial judge who is never reversed. Tonight, to borrow a line from Shakespeare, you dress me in borrowed robes, robes borrowed from those great jurists who've gone ahead, but you do something more. You bless me in those borrowed robes, and for that blessing, this son of Bed-Stuy and this son of Harlem is truly grateful. God bless you, God bless your families, and God bless the United States of America.